So John recently made a trip to Mbita, Kenya. For those that don't know this, we have a really special partnership. You're going to know this now, but we have a very special partnership with Hezron and Mary Obado, their family, Nafasi Mentor Point. Hezron has actually ministered to us, so he's come over here. We kind of do this back and forth, right? So Hezron has come and preached here a couple of times and taught, encouraged our youth group. And so John was just there. So I'm going to turn it over to you, man. All right. Thanks.
Well, good morning, everyone. So here in July, my son Eli and I went to Kenya, and we spent 5 days with Hezron and his family. And it was a mix of seeing what he was doing, the ministry, visiting with him. We went to schools, and so I'm going to talk about all that right now. So my plan right now is just to show you pictures and tell you stories, okay? So I just thought that would be more interesting. So first of all, as we're on our last flight, I don't know if we have the pictures up yet. And so it takes a while to get there, right? Kenya's a long ways away. You go to Europe, that's halfway. Then you got to go to Kenya, and then we go about 3 hours north up on Lake Victoria, and there's a 3-hour car drive and all of that. And so the first picture you're seeing there is our last flight within Kenya, and Eli, and we're boarding, and as you would expect, it's we're out on the tarmac, in line. And then Hezron picked us up, and on our way into Mbita, we got our first job. Someone from a school called and said that the administration, and the printer was down. So we stopped at this school on the way into town, and you can see Eli in the corner with Hezron down there, and they're trying to figure out. And unfortunately, we did not figure it out. But anyway, so a little bit about Hezron and Mary, his wife. On the next picture, you'll see the two of them there with just a beautiful valley behind them. And this is from their campsite. And I'll talk a little bit about this, but it's just a gorgeous view. And Hezron and Mary, they do an incredible job. And we spent 5 solid days with them, eating, lunch, dinner with them every day, going out with them, and they're 4 wonderful kids. And I just really love that family. And in the next picture, you'll see pictures of their kids. On the left is Eden, and she's the youngest. And it took her a little while to warm up to us, but she finally did. In the middle, you have Ruth and Esther. Ruth on the left, Esther on the right. And they're the 2 oldest girls, and just incredible, great kids. And Ruth really likes to sing praise and worship, and she can play the keyboard. She's got a great voice, and it was really neat. We had a good time with both of them. And then Nehemiah, he's on the right. Again, my son Eli's there with them, and he's got a new Lego set there. Really, and he was really into it. Like, he didn't even want to come to dinner because of the Legos. And he was a lot of fun too. So when you come into Mbita, is the name of the town, on the next picture, you'll see that maybe the greeting committee are these cows right in the middle. There's one paved road through town, and there are a lot of animals wandering around, people, it's what you would expect. And it was really neat. And Hezron, he knows so many people in this town that you can't go maybe a block or 2 without him either waving or honking to somebody or stopping and shaking their hand. And he loves people, and he's a networker. And he told me, he's like, if I don't, it's offensive. And this is how I can reach out to them and share Christ with them. At some point, I have to keep those relationships alive. In the next one, you'll see that it's just a reminder of the poverty there. And there's a field there. This woman is washing something it's a ditch, it's a big puddle. It rained, and so you have some muddy water there. I'm not sure what she was washing, maybe some laundry, something, I don't know. But it's just a reminder of how the people are forced to live in this environment, and just the great need there, not only spiritually, because there definitely is a spiritual need, but also to meet their physical needs. The next one is the neighboring town, Sindo, and Hezron grew up in this town, and things are actually a little worse off in this town. And you can see there just the kind of, I don't know, call it a big drainage ditch that runs through town. And they're drying fish and stuff there on those mats there to the left. And then you can't really see it because it's so small, but in the middle, in the far back, there's some public toilets there. And you can see where those, the sewage feeds into there. This place, there are articles written about this place, about rising crime, and just it's a place that really does need Jesus. Every place needs Jesus, and this one's at the top of the list. So one of the things we got to do was to go into school. So in the next picture, you'll see we stopped in a school in the town of Kisumu. And while Hezron picked us up from the airport, and then he's like, "Hey, I gotta see some of my kids here, not his children, but kids that he sponsors." And so we stopped in, and there are two boys at this school, and it's a boarding school, and a lot of them are, and so people here support this ministry, Nafasi Mentor Point, and part of that money goes towards helping these kids pay for their school bill. And through this, they get mentorship, and I'll talk more about that. But we saw these two young men, and Samuel, the one on the right, the tall one, he's a really neat guy. He's not the class president. He's like the high school president, and he has a lot of ideas, and he gets things done. And he raised a bunch of money to pay for tuition for the kids who didn't have enough. And so it was really, really neat to see, and I got to spend some more time with him as well. On the next one, back in the town of Sendo I was talking about, we stopped in at a school there, and this actually is a school where Pastor Tony preached, maybe the last time he was in Kenya. And there are two young ladies there at that school, and I'm sorry, I'm trying to remember their names, but I don't remember them. But I do know that the one on the left in the picture, she wants to be a journalist. That's what she aspires to do. And the one on the right, she wants to be a medical doctor. And they're both in this also a boarding school. And Hezron has such a sense of humor. You look at this picture and you're like, why is he sitting on a chair? Okay, let me tell you the story. So we were given the school principal's office to meet in. And so because he didn't want to meet out where other students could see that, that these two girls, had the sponsorship and all that. And so they put us in the principal's office, which was this nice big office. So Hezron was having fun with it. So he was sitting in the chair with his arms crossed, I was telling him to put his feet up on the desk, but he didn't. But anyway, so we got a picture there. And so that was really, really special. While we were there, he also gave them some bus fare, so because it was the end of the school semester, and so they would be traveling back to their home, and so he wanted to make sure they had fare, so because it's a good 10 miles, and so that they didn't have to walk. On the next one, you'll see more of the students. Hezron standing there in the middle of the picture, and so the summer break began while we were there during that week. And he has all the students come in, and they kind of do a debrief, right? And there are about 20 of them. I don't think all of them were there yet on this day, but this was after we left. It was the following week, and there were about 20 of them. And he goes through, and in talking with him through this, I realized that he and Mary are not just paying for their schooling; they're like stand-in parents for them, right? And he's coaching them about life skills, about where they are at spiritually, and in a lot of ways that he and Mary are like mother and father to them. So in the next one, you'll see a group picture, and all of them there, and Hezron on the far left, and then and again there are about 20 of them, and so there are a few missing from this picture, but. This does change the course of their lives. And I'm going to meet soon with one of his students who is here in Tennessee. He graduated. He went on to become a nurse, and he's in Johnson City, Tennessee, working at a hospital there. And I'd met his mom 10 years ago. I saw her again on this trip. But this has changed the course of his life, right? Given where he started at. So On the next one, we're going to switch over to the widows, and they also help widows with taking care of their needs as well, and then discipleship. So in this picture, you'll see a picture here of Rose, and she's standing in front of her small house, and she raises corn, she has chickens, and she has 7 kids that live in this house with her. I think most of them are grandkids. I wasn't quite clear on that. But she receives chickens, or did receive chickens, from the Nafasi Mentor Point. And the way it works is they get about 20 chickens, and then after 3 months, they give back, I think it's 5 of them. And then those 5 go to the next person. And so it's kind of like a cooperative in that sense. But chickens are really important. A lot of people here are raising chickens now too, right? Not only because of the meat and all that, but because of the eggs. And so they multiply those, and then that allows them to either use the eggs for themselves, or to sell and buy other things that they need. The next picture, you'll see an old mat standing or leaned up against some corn stalk. I thought this was garbage, because here that's what it would be, right? And turns out that this is she sleeps on this mat, and it was out drying in the sun. And then the kids were sleeping on the floor and on some mats, and the chickens in the house, because to keep them safe, you can't leave them outside. And just a humbling situation for sure. And so Hezron and Mary were really concerned with this. So you'll see in the next picture that the week after we left, Rose got a new bed, and so that was really neat to see, So Hezron, he didn't make it for the delivery of the bed, but Paul, the guy in the blue shirt, he just started in August working with them, and full time. And he's a really neat guy too, and has a heart for ministry. So you can see he and Mary's on the right, and they delivered the bed and the mattress. So moving on to the next one, we met with another woman. Her name was Angelina, and she's an elder in her small village. And this was fun, because this one we drove a ways, up this mountain, and then we had to hike a little ways, and it was beautiful. And so we got to sit and talk with her for a little bit. She was really gracious with us. And her story is really neat, because a few years ago, Hezron and Mary and some others, they raised some money, and they came and they helped Angelina build a garden. And because they have to really work the soil at first, because a lot of the topsoil is washed off. And so they helped her build this garden. And you can see a picture of there in the next slide after this. There's a picture of this garden, and lots of papaya and some other things, mango tree and all that. Well, she learned from this experience, and so we'll go on to the next one. So you'll see another picture there, and this is the second garden. Now, she did this one on her own, and she has a spring there on the land, and the crew before helped pipe water down to that first garden I showed you. This garden is closer to the spring. And she's taking the produce from here, which is mostly bananas and papayas. But I did see potatoes there as well, and cassava. And she sells every week. She sells produce to a hotel and to a school. And there's a couple motorcycles. They come with big baskets, and they take it. And so this is providing an income for them. And I think there are nine children in this household. And then the next one, you'll see some goats. And so Angelina received the chickens as well, and so she multiplied those, and then and she traded in for a goat, and now she's building up her stock of goats here, and so in honor of Nafasi Mentor Point, the organization, one of those goats, I'm not sure which one, is named Nafasi. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the camp. So about a year ago, someone here in Tennessee actually found out about a need that Hezron had while he was here, and they bought this land for him for the ministry. And this camp, I forget, I think it's about 10 acres or so. and it has a house on it. And the house needed some work, but it's in really good shape. And so Hezron envisioned a camp here for youth, for church camps, for leadership, for couples. And so we got to walk up to the camp, and it was really, really neat. And so you'll see the picture of the house there. And then on the next one, you'll see the three of us standing there, of course, right out in front. Let's see. In the next one, you'll see a picture of inside and the kitchen on the left, and then the kind of the great room on the right side there. And he wants to remodel the kitchen next. Like, he's using it, but it does need some work. He wants to remodel it next. And they had some youth there recently, and all the boys slept in this room, the great room on the floor. And then there are 2 bedrooms, and the girls slept in the 2 bedrooms. The next picture you'll see, we hiked up to the highest point on the camp, and there's a cross up there, and got our pictures up, and it was really neat. It's just the potential for this place is big, and then just the views up there. It's just a great place to get away. Okay, so the last thing, or well, actually not, the second to last thing I'm going to talk about is what my son Eli was able to do. So he came with me, of course, and like I said, but he's really gotten into 3D printing, which involves CAD design as well as printing parts. So we took a small printer over there, set it up, and I think there were 7 or 8 different young people who he taught them how to use this. And he taught them, so in this picture, he's showing them CAD on the computer. And so they were designing some keychains for themselves, things like that, with their names on them, and then printing them out. And this is important because these students, their interests are sciences, business, and whatnot. And so, just exposing them to this as they're, going on into their schooling or whatnot, just, helps them get a leg ahead. So it was really special. It was really good to see Eli. This was his thing. I had nothing to do with this other than, helping carry the bags. But he, this was his thing, and it was really good to see. Okay, so the last one is a school that we went to, and this was on Friday morning. And the way it works there is Hezron goes to one school, Mary goes to another school, and then Paul, the guy I showed you in the other picture, he goes to a third school. And on Friday morning, and they do chapel. And they have the opportunity to disciple, to speak to many, many kids. So this one, we went to one of them, and there were 500 kids at this school. And so you can't see it in the picture there, but there are 500. And Hezron also is the local Gideon's leader for Gideon's Bibles. And so we handed out 500 Bibles at this school. So Eli and me, we went to this classroom. And for those of you who are teachers, you'll appreciate this. There were 100 kindergartners in this room. I mean, I don't know how they learn anything, but it was great. And we handed out all these Bibles. We shook more hands than I think we've ever shaken before at one time. And just beautiful kids. And so it was really neat to see that and to be a part of it. And they do this every single week. So what I want to leave you with is, they need a lot of prayer. They do a great job. They were in really good spirits while we were there, but I'm sure sometimes it gets hard. So whenever you think about them, please pray for them. Know that our church is supporting them financially as well, and you are a part of this through that. So keep them in your prayers. And so to finish, and one more thing, I did bring back some of the things that the widows make, like crafts type stuff that the widows make, and those are on a table in the back there. And so it's a fundraiser. So if there's anything you want, take just a small donation for it. That'll go right back into this ministry, 100% of it. I'll be back there after the service. And so right now we're going to show just a really short video of that Hezron made for the church, for our church.
Hello and greetings from Kenya. This is Brother Hezron Obado, the director of Nafasi Mentor Point Ministries. I just want to say thank you to the church, that is Calvary Long Hollow, for the great support and for the love that you've shown us throughout these years. I just want to say thank you even for having sent John together with his son to come and see what we're doing here in Kenya. This one made us so happy and also made our great day here in Kenya. And their being here was so blessing, and it was a blessing to us. And so we just want to say thank you even for the support that you sent with them. That has been of great help even to the ministry, because out of it now we are able even to take some pictures, and at the same time we are able to do some presentation. So thank you very much. I lack words to express my heart. And I just want to say that the Lord to continue blessing you, the Lord to continue keeping you, and the Lord to continue making his face to shine upon you. We are doing well in Kenya and also continuing the ministry. And we hope that you will be here very soon to continue working together with us. Blessings, and the Lord bless you. Amen.
Well, thank you very much.